Welcome again to Kenny's Punchline Podcast. All right, Jack, I've got a wild one for you today. Like, really out there. What if we only wore footwear into a building, and outside we were all barefoot? No shoes, no sandals, no nothing. Just feet.
Whoa. Okay, that's a concept. Like shoes become the indoor equivalent of a house coat? Interesting. My first thought is, ouch. But also freedom?
Exactly. It's such a flip of what we consider normal, right? We put shoes on to go out to protect our feet from the elements, from dirt, from everything. And we kick them off when we come in. This flips it entirely.
So, envisioning this, I'm walking down a city street completely barefoot, and then I get to my office building, and then I slip on my dress shoes? Or is it like special indoor-only office slippers?
That's the beauty of the hypothetical. We get to define it. I'm imagining it's any footwear you want as long as it's for indoor use only. So yeah, maybe you've got your fancy loafers just for the office, and then you step out and nada, just your soles connecting with the pavement, the grass, whatever.
Okay, let's break this down. The immediate pros, for me, if we're only wearing shoes indoors, is the cleanliness of buildings. Imagine no more tracking mud, dirt, leaves, whatever, into your home, into stores, into public spaces. Everything would be so much cleaner inside.
Oh, absolutely. That's a huge one. Think about how much crud we bring into our homes on the bottoms of our shoes, and then you walk around barefoot inside, and suddenly your feet aren't getting instantly grimy. You'd have pristine floors everywhere.
And the cost savings. No more buying outdoor shoes. Think of all the money we'd save. Although, I guess we'd still be buying indoor shoes, but maybe fewer varieties, less heavy duty, maybe just some nice, comfortable slippers for home and some dressier indoor shoes for work.
Right. The shoe industry would completely pivot. Instead of rugged hiking boots and fashionable sneakers, we'd have an explosion of ergonomic, comfortable, perhaps even luxurious indoor footwear. Slippers would become haute couture.
I'm picturing these elaborate, almost art-like indoor shoes. Or maybe everyone just goes for pure comfort, like those fluffy hotel slippers, but, for everyday office wear. The idea of walking around the office in those is actually quite appealing.
Definitely. But let's flip to the outside, the barefoot aspect. This is where it gets really interesting. Imagine the sensory experience. Feeling the texture of the sidewalk, the coolness of grass, the warmth of sun-baked asphalt. It's a connection to the world we rarely get.
That's what I meant by freedom. There's something so natural about it. Kids do it all the time, right? Running around in the summer, no shoes on. They just instinctively do it. And then we, as adults, put them in these restrictive boxes for their feet.
And think about foot health. A lot of podiatrists talk about how modern shoes can actually weaken our foot muscles, lead to bunions, hammer toes, all sorts of issues because our feet aren't allowed to spread and articulate naturally. Being barefoot strengthens those intrinsic foot muscles.
True. I mean, our feet are designed to walk on varied terrain, to adapt, not to be encased in rigid soles all day. So you could see improved balance, stronger ankles, maybe even better posture overall. It's like a constant, gentle foot workout.
Absolutely. It's a more natural gait. Our proprioception, our sense of where our body is in space, would probably be greatly enhanced. You'd be more aware of your surroundings because you'd be feeling every step.
Okay, but now for the ouch part. The cons: glass, thorns, hot pavement, cold pavement, mud, animal waste. City streets are not exactly pristine environments, even if we're not tracking our dirt inside anymore.
Oh, that's the big elephant in the room, isn't it? Or maybe the sharp shard of glass on the pavement. Public hygiene and safety would become paramount. Cities would have to be cleaner, like significantly cleaner. More frequent street sweeping, better waste management.
And imagine walking through a puddle in winter, or snow. We'd all have frostbite within minutes. So this system would really only work in very specific climates, or we'd have to evolve really tough feet, like hobbits.
We'd definitely adapt over time. Our soles would toughen up significantly. But you're right, extreme weather would be a serious challenge. What about jobs? Construction workers, doctors in operating rooms. They can't exactly be barefoot on a construction site, can they?
That's a very practical point. Would there be exemptions? Or would those environments count as indoors? A construction site is a building site, technically, So maybe hard hats and steel-toed boots would be mandatory indoor wear for that specific type of building.
That's a good distinction. So any place where the risk is too high or a specific function requires it would be deemed an indoor environment even if it's outdoors, like a designated work zone where footwear is permitted or even required. That makes sense.
Yeah, otherwise it just becomes completely impractical for essential services. But for the average person commuting to work, going to the grocery store, how would transportation work? You're barefoot on the bus, on the train, on your bike.
Barefoot on the bike would be interesting. Maybe pedal design would change, wider, flatter, grippier pedals. And public transport, imagine the smell, not necessarily body odor, but just a lot of foot odor. We'd need much better ventilation systems on buses and trains.
Oh God, the collective foot smell, that's a huge hygiene concern. Even if your feet are clean, after a long day of walking around barefoot, especially in summer, phew, maybe foot washing stations at all public transport hubs.
Yes, and public fountains wouldn't just be for aesthetics, they'd be for foot cleaning, or maybe specialized foot baths everywhere. Imagine getting off the subway and just dipping your feet in a clean water basin before heading into your building. It could be quite refreshing.
That's a fascinating thought. It changes our entire infrastructure. Sidewalks would need to be smoother, less prone to cracking. Every public space would need to consider foot comfort and safety. Parks would become even more popular because grass is just nicer on bare feet.
And think about personal interaction. When you meet someone, you'd be looking at their feet just as much as their face, not just for dirt, but for signs of health, of how well they're adapting. It would be a new social cue, I think.
So instead of nice shoes, it would be, wow, your soles are really well developed, or you've got some serious arch support on those indoor slippers. It's a whole new fashion statement, isn't it?
Totally. Indoor footwear would become a huge status symbol. People would spend fortunes on the most comfortable, most stylish, most ergonomic indoor shoes, and outside your feet themselves become a statement. Are they calloused and strong, or soft and pristine?
The entire concept of dress code would change. Formal attire would mean your best indoor shoes, and then, well, you're still barefoot getting to the event. Imagine a black tie gala. You arrive barefoot, then slip on your bespoke velvet slippers inside.
That's hilarious and brilliant at the same time. It completely redefines elegance. You'd have to be extra careful not to step on anything on the way in. Maybe valets would also offer foot wipes, a little towel and warm water for your feet before you step into the ballroom.
See, this is a world I can almost imagine. It's got its extreme downsides, sure, but there's a real charm to it. The simplicity, the forced connection with the environment, the focus on foot health. It's like going back to basics in a very specific way.
And think of the environmental impact. Less shoe production, less leather, less plastic, fewer chemicals. It would significantly reduce a massive industry's footprint. We'd probably still have some specialty outdoor gear, like maybe for intense sports or wilderness exploration, but for everyday life, barefoot.
Which begs the question, how would sports work? Would soccer be played barefoot or basketball? I'm picturing a lot of stubbed toes. Football without cleats? That's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, professional sports would likely have specific indoor rules. A designated playing field is a controlled environment, so maybe cleats or specialized sports shoes would be allowed only on the playing field, like how construction sites were allowed special footwear.
That makes sense. So it's not strictly building versus outside, but controlled environment versus uncontrolled environment. Which is a more practical interpretation. This could actually work with some clever rule setting.
Right. A highly controlled outdoor sports arena or a dedicated factory floor could be deemed an indoor footwear zone for safety and performance reasons, but just walking to the park? Barefoot.
I'm still stuck on the cold weather. Seriously, if it's minus 10 degrees, you're telling me I'm just barefoot? My feet would be lumps of ice. We'd need some serious biological adaptation there, or some very clever heated public pathways.
Oh, for sure. This vision probably starts in warmer climates and slowly creeps north as infrastructure adapts. We'd have heated sidewalks, heated public transport floors, maybe even foot tunnels underground in very cold cities. It's a massive societal shift.
Or maybe some sort of temporary disposable foot covering for extreme conditions, like a biodegradable sock or wrap you put on for 5 minutes in a blizzard, then immediately discard before entering a building.
That's an interesting workaround. Like a storm sock you keep in your pocket. The whole point is to minimize impact and maximize connection. so a temporary, environmentally friendly solution for survival in extreme weather could fit.
What about personal identity? For so many, shoes are a massive part of their style, their personality. Taking that away or relegating it to indoor spaces means our outdoor identity is now just our bare feet and whatever we wear above the ankle.
That's a profound point. Fashion would shift dramatically upwards, right? More focus on pants, skirts, socks, even ankle jewelry would become huge. Our outdoor style would be about what we wear on our bodies, and our feet would be pure, unadorned function.
Yeah, foot jewelry would be the equivalent of a watch or a necklace. It's a statement piece, but it's on your foot. I can definitely see that. It would force a different kind of self-expression.
And the way we perceive each other would change. We'd probably become much more observant of people's feet. Are they well kept? Are they strong? Do they look like they walk a lot? It's like a glimpse into someone's lifestyle.
It's a very honest look at a person, isn't it? No hiding behind expensive sneakers or perfectly shined boots. Just your feet, your actual connection to the earth. It strips away a layer of pretense, I think.
It does, and that's kind of beautiful, in a way. This whole idea, despite its initial ouch factor, really makes you think about our relationship with the environment, with hygiene, with our own bodies. It's a radical reevaluation.
It truly is. I'm not sure I'd sign up for it tomorrow, especially with my delicate city feet, but if everyone was doing it and the infrastructure was there, I think I'd get used to it, and I'd probably appreciate the freedom.
Me too. My feet would probably ache for the first month, but then imagine the feeling of strength, of really being grounded, and the simple joy of slipping into a comfy pair of indoor slippers after a long day of feeling the world beneath your feet. It would be exquisite.
You know, that's a perfect way to put it. The simple things would become even more rewarding, like a hot shower after a long hike, but it's just getting into your indoor shoes after a long walk outside. It really would be a different world. Thanks for the mind-bending scenario, Jill.
Anytime, Jack. It's always fun to imagine how one small change could completely reshape everything. And who knows, maybe one day we'll all be kicking off our shoes before we step outside. A truly barefoot future.